What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is the Monday Mindset Movement. I'm your man, Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. What are we talking about today? Well, here's the deal. The most dangerous place for your dreams isn't failure. It's the shelf you keep them on. Yeah, let's talk about that today. I'm so glad that y'all are here. Jill Billionaire, so good to see you. Ruth One NYC, so good to see you. Mark, so good to see you this morning. All right. Judith, so good to see you this morning. Natalie, how you doing? Jessica, good to see you this morning. So glad that y'all are here on the Monday Mindset Movement. Do me a favor. If you want to get notified when we go live, text live to 240, I think it's right here, 240-557-8679. Text live to 240-557-8679. I know it's early in the morning, but hey, we are champions and we are looking to get motivated today. So let's rock and roll with the Monday Mindset Movement. Let's do this thing. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad that y'all are here. Come on, let's go. Bam. Yes, the Monday Mindset Movement. Had to get my signs going this morning. Do me a favor, y'all. If you are a part of the crew, come on, I need some light on this. Okay, yeah, all right, let's do this here. Subscribe, share the show. Yeah, what's going on? TL Speaks, so good to see you this morning. KS Best Fit, so glad that y'all are here today. Yes. We're about to jump on into this show, the Monday Mindset Movement. The goal of this show, 15 to 30 minutes of motivation, elevation, inspiration, designed to get you rock and rolling, thinking, blinking through your week. Yes, we want you to reflect a little bit. Tyran Jackson, official. So glad that you are here today. Yeah, do me a favor. Share the show, y'all. Motivate somebody, inspire somebody, help them to get rocking and rolling in their week. I want to share something with you, something exciting that's coming up before we jump and dive into the show today. I want to share something with you. We got something coming up called the Amplify Voice and Video Influence Summit. Amplify Voice and Video Influence Summit. If you go to amplifyvoiceandvideosummit.com, you can get a little bit more information. It's going to be on April 23rd and 24th. April 23rd and 24th. This voice and video summit is about how you can use your voice, both in public speaking, interpersonal communication, how to use your voice to create a difference, how to use your voice to create influence, and how to transmit that, whether you are in person or online, how to use your voice in person and on video to influence, make a difference so that you can not only transform the world, but you can grow your business as well. All right, so the voice and video influence, we're going to be pushing out everything starting tomorrow, April 1st. But if you want to get on the early notification list, head on over to amplifyvoiceandvideosummit.com. Amplifyvoiceandvideosummit.com. Yeah. I'm getting my tongue twisted right now. Anyway, so I'm so glad that y'all are here this morning. Let's jump on in to our show today. The most dangerous place for your dreams isn't failure. It's the shelf that you keep them on. I don't know if you are a dreamer. I would say that I'm a dreamer, right? I'm somebody that dreams quite a bit. I've got ideas. I've got things that I dream about. And that's not a bad thing. The issue comes when we continue to dream and we continue to dream and we continue to dream and we don't do anything with the dreams. The dreams stay on the shelf. And they stay on the shelf for quite a few different reasons. Some people, they stay on the shelf because, you don't feel equipped to execute the dream. Some people, your dreams stay on the shelf because you don't feel ready. You don't feel like you deserve. You don't feel like you are enough. For a lot of people, their dreams stay on the shelf for a variety of reasons. But I got to tell you that every one of us, each of us, has a moment where we do something bold, and it's up to us to reflect on that moment. It's up to us to reflect on that moment. I'll tell you about me. The other day I was sharing with somebody a time that I was bold. Right? I was sharing with somebody a story of a time that I was bold, and I was in college at the time. I was in my sophomore year of college, and I went home for the summer. I love it. Udine says, let's dust off those dreams. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I went home for the summer, and I was in this space where I was just writing a lot of music, writing a ton of music. And up to this point in my life, I was well, I wouldn't say shy. I was quiet. A lot of people didn't know that I spoke. I wasn't a very forward person at this point in my life. The introvert piece of me was really the most out front part of me. And so I had a interaction with somebody about a year prior that made me decide to become a little bit bolder in my life. So this particular summer, I got the idea that I wanted to start a musical group. Now, I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I knew how to start a musical group, but I didn't know how to do it a little bit bigger. Because most of the groups that I knew at the time at our school, they sang on campus, they sang at different events, etc., on campus. But I wanted to do a little bit more. So I remember getting the idea that I could go to form this group, but I also needed a piece of equipment. I needed a keyboard. And I remember looking up this keyboard. It was an Ensoniq SQ1. Those are the musicians in the room. You remember that? It was an Ensoniq SQ1. And at the time, in the 90s, it was $2,000 to get this keyboard. Now, I knew that I didn't have the money to get this keyboard. Right? Hold on one second. I'm messing my screens up here. Oops. There we go. I knew that I didn't have the money to get this keyboard. But for some reason, I had this thought and I had a plan that I was going to go to the school and ask them to buy the keyboard so that I could be we could be a recruiting tool for the school. And so I remember the day getting up, getting back to school, writing down this plan, and walking into the office of advancement. And as I met with the gentleman who was the leader of the office of advancement at the time, I remember my heart beating out of my chest. And I remember making the request for this keyboard. So I asked for the keyboard. And so sometimes when you do something bold, it's like it's happening in slow motion, right? I asked for this keyboard. I shared with him the idea of the group, and then I made the ask for this keyboard. And I remember it happening in slow motion. He looked down at his desk, and then he looked up. And then he said, yeah, I think we can work that out. Oh my gosh. Right? That was a moment in my life where I had done something that was ridiculous for me. And so the person that I'm sharing the story with, they asked me, how come I wasn't afraid of being rejected? How come I wasn't fearful of being rejected? And my answer to them surprised even me. I said, I was nervous, but I was more obsessed with the result than I was with the fear. I was more obsessed with the result than I was with the fear. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever been in a situation where your boldness takes over, where your courage takes over, and it takes over because you are so much more obsessed with the result? Whatever that result is, whether that result is good or bad, you just gotta know. Whether it's a yes or a no, you just gotta know. And you are so much more obsessed with that, the knowledge of that result, than you are of the fear of taking action. We've got to get to that place. What is it inside of us that we need to capture or recapture to live in that way? You see, so many people have ideas and dreams. So many of us have ideas and dreams that never see the light of day because we're more obsessed with the fear of failure than we are with the result that we could achieve if we actually took action. Yeah. A lot of people don't even try because they're afraid of failing or making the wrong decision. Do you know anybody like that? Maybe that's you. Maybe it's me. We've all had that moment. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of being criticized. We're afraid of making the wrong decision. And so we don't act. This gentleman by the name of John Doerr, or Doerr, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. I wish I could ask him personally. But he has a book called Measure What Matters. And in that book, he says failure or wrong decisions can be corrected when the results begin to roll in. But non-decisions or inaction teaches us nothing. Yeah. Non-decision or inaction teaches us nothing, but failure or wrong decisions can be corrected when the decisions or when the results begin to roll in. Let me pull up some of these statements here. So Udine is saying fear of failure is debilitating. Yeah. All right. Let's dust off those dreams. Hey, TL Speaks. So glad that you all are here this morning. So glad that you all are here. So let me end Women's History Month with another story or another share. I want to tell you about Sarah Blakely. I don't know if you know who she is, but you will in a moment. So Sarah Blakely was about 27 years old, and at this time, she was selling fax machines door to door. You remember those? Fax machines. But here's what happened. She had a thought, she had an idea, and it wasn't about the machines. It wasn't about the offices. And I'm going to get personal here. She was frustrated by her undergarments. She was frustrated because, remember, she was going door to door. She was walking around and she was frustrated. I don't know. I can't say exactly what the frustration was, but she was frustrated by her undergarments. So one day, here's what she did. She cut the feet off of her pantyhose in order to wear underneath some white pants. And whatever the frustration was, it worked. And she came up with this thought and she came up with this idea and she cut the feet off and ended up with a product that she called Spanx. Now, she had no business background, no fashion experience, and no funding. She just had an idea. She had a bold idea and she had a $5,000 savings account. So she decided she was going to take this idea to see if she could get it manufactured. And she shared it with quite a few different manufacturers. And she was rejected time after time after time, mostly by men who didn't get the concept. But that didn't deter her. She kept going. And she finally found one manufacturer, one factory owner who believed in her. And this factory owner believed in her mainly because his daughters told him that this was a brilliant idea. So she wrote her own patent. She did the trademark. She did all of the work that she needed to do. She did her own packaging. She pitched this product. She even got this product into Neiman Marcus because she was doing a pitch at Neiman Marcus and then went into the bathroom and changed her clothes. Years later, Oprah named Spanx one of her favorite things, and then the brand exploded, and Sarah Blakely became the youngest self-made female billionaire in America. And unlike people who go on to Shark Tank or some of the other VC shows, venture capital shows, she didn't have to give up any equity until much later on. So Sarah Blakely says that she built Spanx on failure. She built Spanx on failure, not on a dream, not on an idea. She built it on failure. Every night, her dad used to ask her and her brother, "What did you fail at today? What did you fail at today?" Because he taught them that failure wasn't the enemy. The enemy was not trying. So my question for you is, what did you fail at today? As you go through this week, what did you fail at each day? If you didn't fail at something, it means you weren't trying anything. What did you fail at? What did you fail at? Let me stop for a second just to grab a couple of these comments here. I see Udine is asking for the name of the book. The name of the book is Measure What Matters, and I'll talk about it again in just a little bit. It's actually in the caption. If you go to the caption for the show, you'll see it there at the bottom as a resource for today. All right. Good morning, Dr. Lorenda. So glad that you're here. Leah, J.M. Dean, so glad that you're here. Jaquise Moore, so glad that you're here. MT15 Rohan, so glad that you're here. Let's jump back into what we're talking about here. Let's just jump back in. So what did you fail at today? I want to share three things, 3 thoughts, 3 steps, 3 ideas here as we tackle this idea of failure or moving from dream to do. So I want you to think about failure as research. I want you to reframe failure as research. When you try and you fail is not the end. When you try and you fail, it's not the end. It's just research. Every setback is information. What do you know, or what have you gotten from it? Every setback is information. Use it, learn from it, and then try it again. So number one thing that I want you to do is reframe failure as research. Second, I want you to set one big crazy goal. I want you to set one big crazy goal. Something crazy, outlandish, something that you just in your current mind don't think that you could accomplish. Set one big crazy goal. And then here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit with it. I'm not telling you to set 5. I'm not telling you to set 10. I'm not telling you to set 3 even. I'm saying set one crazy big goal. And then what I want you to do is break it down into some really small steps. Break it down into what small steps that you can take each day. All right. The smaller the step, the easier it is to start and to keep moving. Sometimes we think about things like working out, or we want to start a workout program, and we're like, okay, I'm going to do 30 minutes of working out per week. But maybe you've been sitting on the bench and you haven't worked out. So can you start with, okay, I'm going to do 2 minutes today. And then each week I'm going to increase it by 1 minute, or each day I'm going to increase it by 1 minute. Right? Start with small steps. So set a big goal and then break it down into some small steps. The third idea, or the third thing that I want you to do, is I want you to surround yourself with doers. And I know the Instagram people are not getting this on screen in the way that it needs to be. We'll set that up in the next few weeks. Surround yourself with doers and not just dreamers. The people around you matter. The people around you matter. Find people who are in motion and learn from them. Right? Find people who are in motion and learn from those people. Support their dreams and they'll support yours. It's important. Why it's important for me to have a mastermind group is because Those are people who are not just talking about stuff. Those are people who are not just thinking about stuff or keeping it in their brains. They are putting it in motion. And sometimes it's a long process, but they're putting it in motion. Sometimes the road to seeing growth in the way that is visible to us is long, but they're in motion. They're taking small steps. They're doing stuff and they're failing. And then we're talking about it. And then we're learning from that. Because again, remember, failure is research, right? Reframe your failure as research, right? I'm looking at Tyran Jackson says, I failed at successfully launching a new service, but it's led me to go back and make modifications to make the next iteration even better. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That is exactly what we're talking about, right? Using your failure as research. Now, I want to encourage you to do these 3 things. Reframe your failure as research. Get your mind practiced by creating a scary goal. Sometimes we set a goal like this, and freak yourself out. Blow your mind by creating a goal that is scary, and then break it down into some small things, some small steps. And then lastly, hang around people who are doers and not just dreamers. Remember, Jim Rohn says you're the average of the 5 people who are closest to you, or the 5 people that you hang around with the most. So let's wrap today and let's land this plane a little bit. Again, from the book Measure What Matters by John Doerr, it says, we don't learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. Dreams are messy, but doing is uncomfortable. Especially when those dreams are huge, big, impossible dreams. Dreams are messy, but doing is uncomfortable. But when you show up anyway, big things happen. John Doerr also says in the book Measure What Matters, ideas are easy, execution is everything. Ideas are easy, execution is everything. So how can you turn your day from a day of reaction into a day of creation? Same letters, move the C. How can you turn your day from a day of reaction into a day of creation? I want to encourage you to build something new so that you can break through to bigger. Guess what, my friend? This world needs both you and me to not just dream big, but to do big. If you want your business and your sales to get better through more confident speaking, both in person and on camera, join me in the Story Speaking and Sales community. That link is in the caption. And hey, do not forget about the Amplify Voice and Video Influence Summit. Go to amplifyvoiceandvideosummit.com. Get on that notification list so that you can get the information starting tomorrow, April 1st. Listen, my friends, it is time to do something scary. It's time to do something different. The power is in you. As Les Brown says, greatness is in you. Greatness is in you. It's in you not only with your ideas, but it's in you with the possibility to act on those ideas. Let's do this thing. Let's change the world, y'all. Change your thoughts. Change your world. Change your story. Until next time, join me next Monday for the Monday Mindset Movement. Don't forget to share the show. Share this show with a friend if it resonated with you so that you can make a difference in their world today. All right? Change your thoughts. Change your world. Change your story. Until next time, my friends. I'll see you. Peace. What's up, Authentic Gary Graham? So glad you joined us this morning. Hey, C. Sutherland. Glad you're here. Nathalie Gregg. So glad that you're here this morning.